Yeah.
Bring it on. Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate.
You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything.
It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. When you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You live with Omaha? I can promise you that. And it's purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
How do you say that last name? Go look at the graphic I made on the Facebook page.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into the Pirate football preview here on the Sports Objective as we preview Coastal Carolina. And ladies and gentlemen, we can't do a show without Kyle from LaGrange Barber. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Dave? JR, looking forward to the Coastal Carolina game that's coming up Saturday night in Conway. A little sleepy tonight, but we're going to push through the show. And we'll be joined later on in the show by Alan Blodden from myorenews.com to give us a little preview of the Coastal Carolina side of things. He'll join us in about 10 minutes.
JR, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's happening? Okay, so this game is the one that I was scratching my head. Like, why is everybody worried about this game? I think we got this one handily. But you know what? I'm digging deeper, and common sense is prevailing. And there's plenty to be concerned about. I still like our chances, but yeah, it's not going to be a lay down by any stretch. And you know, we're going to have some worthy competition on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, somebody needs to turn their TV down in the background. I don't know which one of y'all it is, but
Not me.
The Coastal, look, what concerns me about Coastal is a couple things. One, the quarterback situation. We don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. They got, two choices there. It could be MJ Morris that transferred from Maryland, also played at NC State, or Tad Hudson, the transfer from Carolina. MJ started the Virginia game. He also started the Charleston Southern game this past week, but Tad came in the third or fourth quarter, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's concerning. Also, to me, their defensive scheme. Coastal plays a unique defense. It's very aggressive. It's something that we normally don't see, and Coach Harrell pointed out that JDB spent a lot of time preparing for it before the season, kind of as if you were, would defensively against a triple option is how he compared it. And there's several other things about this game. One, it's going to be sold out. Two, this is a big home game for Coastal. I don't think it'll have the Charlotte effect. I don't think they view it quite the same way Charlotte does, but it is a big game for Coastal. And also, I'm going to go back, and I know people laugh at me for this, but I really believe that teal field, the surf turf, if you will, is a big home field advantage for them. It's something that I don't think it'll be something that affects us the whole game, but I do think you have to adjust to it. I don't see how you wouldn't have to adjust to it. It's got to be off-putting. You play your whole life on green grass, and now all of a sudden you're standing on this teal surface. I don't see how it can't mess with your vision.
I think it will starting off, but I think it's kind of like Hoosiers with Gene Hackman. I think that they'll see that, hey, every goal is like that. He tells them, he measures it and it's 10 foot. It's still 100 yards. It's 50 yards wide. There's still going to be, there's things that are the same. And I don't worry about that. Johnny, I worry about, maybe y'all can help me as far as injuries are concerned. How are we, I haven't had a chance to look at that today. I wanted to, injury-wise, how are we stacking up?
How are we stacking up how, Dave?
With injuries? Do you know like?
Yeah. No. I have not heard any updates.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. Nor have I. And
I think we're pretty. I think we're pretty good. What's his name? I'm sorry. Forgive me, guys.
Riles, the tight
Riles got
end.
injured during the game. He was at practice on Monday, jogging around. So I don't know if he'll be ready to go or 100%. But there was no cast, no brace, and he was out jogging at practice on Monday. So I'm assuming we will have him, but that would be the only concern.
no question, Johnny. That's the main thing. That's my main concern is just looking at the matchups. I feel very good about our chances. And we'll talk about. By the way, we're going to seize everybody. If you're watching the Pirate Football Preview live or listening, then you'll know that we do our predictions. We'll do our predictions at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. And like you said, we'll have a coastal preview in about 5 minutes or so. Guys, so far so good with the season. In fact, Johnny, I've got this. I want you to double check this for me if you don't mind.
Okay.
I got a stat for you. We have a +3 turnover margin is 15th best FBS according to ESPN.com.
That is true, and we're coming up at 2 seasons where we had a major turnover deficit. So I predict when we did our season preview, one thing I was hoping for was positive turnover ratio, and so far so good.
No doubt.
JR, you said you became more concerned about this game over the last 2 days. What has concerned you?
Okay, well, I was looking at Pro Football Focus numbers, and there's 13 different categories they rate teams on, and Coastal has an advantage over us in 5 of them. That would be the run blocking, pass rush, coverage, and tackling. The Campbell game, by the way, was our worst tackling grade we've ever had since 2013, since they first start doing numbers.
Wow.
Now, yeah, but we had 90 guys participate in that game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
but still, we had 8 starters with missed tackles in the Campbell game, and we had 10 starters with missed tackles in the NC State game. So it is something that we need to clean up a bit. But I'm not overly concerned about it because, when you look back at the games, I don't really recall any plays being broken because we missed a tackle.
No, I didn't either. I think we pursued to the ball really well. I think it's the point Blake Harrell made. If you got 11 guys there, when you miss a tackle, it really didn't matter much.
Yeah.
So those are interesting points. I do think it's the stats are a bit. I think this season through 2 games, I don't think you really have a large enough sample size to really for stats to matter that much yet.
Yeah, but the common opponents are pretty similar. They have Virginia, we have NC State. They have Charleston Southern, and we have Campbell. So
yeah. From that aspect, just based on the scores, you would take huge advantage of us. But I do think it's going to be a very competitive game. The line's 7.5. Johnny Gardner just said a minute ago in chat that he thought Tad had been announced as the starter.
Oh boy. Okay.
So I don't know. I didn't listen to JR or Johnny Gardner rather. Did you listen to the Coastal press conference this week? I have not had a chance to listen to it yet. So that kind of stuff right there is the kind of thing that just it irritates you because they struggled so much with MJ as quarterback. And now, of course, we get the first start for the other kid. That's the kind of BS I can't stand.
Yeah, but I tell you, I'm not surprised because, they have a new offensive coordinator, Drew Hollingshead, who came over from Western Kentucky, and he had Caden Veltkamp last year.
Yep.
And they did their damage 20-plus yards downfield. They averaged 12-plus yards an attempt. And that was 22.8% of their offense. Now, this season, MJ's struggling big time getting the ball down the field. He's 2 for 11 with 3 interceptions, averaging 4.2 yards an attempt. So I think that they just figured out this isn't the kid to run the offense that I want to run. and
Right.
Yeah.
they're going to give this, they're going to give Tad a shot, I guess.
Yeah, I know. But I just hate to see it against us because, yeah, I
Oh,
can
I
tell you.
agree.
I can tell you, I watched them play against UVA. I knew that kid wasn't the answer. They do like to take a lot of deep shots, so I hope we're ready for that. I just hope, this isn't a situation where the new starter comes in and lights us up. And that part really irritates me. I'd like, again, if Johnny Gardner, if you're still watching, was that confirmed at the press conference, or where did you see that he was announced at the as the starter? I haven't seen that, but I've been busy this week, so I could have easily missed it. So, but
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but Tad Hudson seems to be an underachiever and with a limited skill set. So,
I've never watched him play. So,
okay, well, okay. Somebody that I know that is a Carolina fan said, "Hey, if Tad Hudson starts, y'all are going to win by 30 points." Now that could be a very
that's a skewed view from a
yeah,
Carolina fan.
yeah, because he's jilted. But his numbers would suggest that when he does get the opportunity, he doesn't do much with it.
Well, let's hope that continues because God knows, MJ so far hasn't done anything with it. So if it is Tad, let's hope that trend from his past continues.
Guys, we want to take a couple comments if we can.
Sure.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Axel says Jamarli will record his first INT of the season on Saturday.
I love that,
Riddle.
Axel.
Okay. I
Yeah,
hope you're
he's
right,
due.
Axel.
Yeah. And Kenny says Coastal will need a total 360 yards of offense to win against East Carolina. I watched their game last week and it was bad and that's being nice. If the Pirates are focused and play mistake-free games, we win 44-0. Go Pirates.
Yeah, but see, my whole thing is you watched him play with MJ Morris. Tad didn't come in to tell the fourth. So that's the kind of crap that just bugs me.
And there's also the fact that, Johnny, when you were talking about the stats, that there's a reason, no offense to Coastal Carolina, but if he were good, he would still be at UNC potentially too. I mean,
you could say that about Caton Hauser and Michigan State.
Oh, I know that. I realize. I'm just saying that you can cut it different ways,
I mean, it's
no matter who they start, we have the advantage of quarterback.
No
question. Yeah.
Bad news. Justin says, bad news. I'm having to ride on the Queen's Anne's the third the rest of the year. So if the equipment gets missing, don't blame me.
All right, Justin.
And he says we'll be pulling out on Friday morning.
All
there
right.
you go.
Right.
There you go.
Good luck, Justin.
Yeah, Kyle, you can ride out with him on Friday morning, and y'all can go down to Myrtle Beach and have a big blast, a big party.
And we're gonna go Friday. Do you have something against Myrtle Beach, Dave? I just get this this disdain from you when you talk about Myrtle Beach. Like
absolutely, the exact opposite, actually.
Okay,
no,
all right.
I have nothing against Myrtle Beach.
Just making sure. We'll be heading out Friday evening if the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, or Friday afternoon, I should say.
And you said it. So when the Pirates win, everybody needs to go to the Circle, right? Not the Circle, but the
Circle. That's Atlantic Beach. Years ago.
I knew as soon as I said that I was wrong. Yeah, cruising.
The Boulevard. Cruise the Boulevard. Yeah, if we win, yeah, I want to see pirate flags flying on cars cruising the Boulevard.
That sounds good to me. Kenneth says, see everyone in Conway. Take the 80-mile trek. He's taking the 80-mile trek down from Fayetteville to Myrtle Beach. Well, it's much more than 80 for me or for Kyle. But
I don't even know how far the drive is to Myrtle, or in terms of mileage. I know it normally takes us about 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
2 hours and 30 minutes, just depending.
I'll be sitting in section 703, which is in Northern Virginia.
Yeah. What's your decision on not to come to the game?
Yeah, I just can't make it.
I'll be at the 2-5. I'll be in the 252.
I've been saving all my energy for BYU.
Oh, absolutely. We're getting ready for the tailgate. And Kyle, you're going to tailgate with us next week?
Potentially. It'll depend.
That'll be awesome.
Well, potentially, hopefully, but we got some business to take care of before the Cougs come to town, which you hope is we take care of business against Coastal.
Yeah, I will make it very clear. I'm not overlooking this game. I was just simply saying that to.
I don't know. Look, if we're 2-1, with BYU coming to town, you would expect, I don't know that we'll sell it out, but I would expect at least 45,000 in there.
Yeah.
So we got to take care of business.
130
miles. All right, thank you, Justin. Now I know. No. So our guest Alan Blonde should be with us any time now.
Yep.
He told me he would be joining us about 8:15, and we will get the Coastal Carolina perspective from him.
Awesome. Hey, one thing I think we have an advantage of also is they get this new guy playing quarterback, Tad Hudson, and they're going to have to establish the run somehow. And we're actually 32nd in the nation in run defense. So that might be a hard task for them, especially if we step up our game a bit. That could put them in a real situation where they're playing from behind and have to throw it. And I don't know. Then Jamarley's going to get his interception for sure.
Well, by the nature of their offense, they want to throw. I mean, they run the air raid. It's a Mike Leach style offense. Yes, they ran it quite a bit in the fourth quarter against Charleston Southern.
Well,
but they, by their druthers, they would rather throw it, and they would like to go deep a lot.
But here's the thing. Okay, so last year at Western Kentucky, he ran it 411 times and passed it 390.
Yeah, but you remember, though, last year at Western Kentucky, their quarterback got injured about game number 4. They were playing with second and third string quarterbacks most of the season.
And then this season so far, there's 65 passes and 77 runs. But again, Kyle, I think you're right. I think that's because they just don't feel like they have the quarterback. But maybe, who knows what kind of week of practice Tad had. Maybe he had a great week, and he's going to sling it. That's what they want. You're right about that.
Hey, Johnny, I got another one from stat from ESPN.com. The Pirates have a solid third down defense, allowing opponents a 31% conversion rate. And by the way, guys, that's 52nd in FBS.
Yeah.
So I know that it's only
very respectable.
I know it's only 2 opponents, but our defense, if they can continue to play like they've been playing, then I think we'll do very well.
I agree.
I mean, I'm being respectful to Coastal because they've had a good program the last few years, but what I've seen so far, I haven't seen all the games, but what I've seen so far, they're struggling on maybe. And like Kyle said, we don't want it to be where.
I think defensively, I like their scheme on defense quite a bit. I watched they try to bring pressure. UVA's got a good offense. They shut out Charleston Southern. I do think their defense is solid. So far, their offense has been atrocious. But again, if they're changing quarterback, will that be the spark? So
yeah, he says they couldn't throw or run.
I hope that continues, Kenny. I really do. Did Johnny Garner just leave after he made that comment about Tad?
I don't know.
I don't know. Johnny, are you there? We have Johnny Robertson. JR is with us, but Johnny Gardner, we've got so many Johnnies.
Let me do a quick Google search here.
All right.
But overall, Johnny, do you have any, that being Johnny Stats, do you have any impressive like Johnny Stats that will impress us?
Well, I mean, just the fact that we couldn't be hotter at passing with Caden Hauser. He's, I think I said this last show, but I'll repeat it if somebody didn't hear it. The last 5 full quarters he's played, he's thrown for 100 yards plus in every one of them. The only one he didn't was the first quarter against NC State, where the whole team was trying to find their legs a little bit. But after that, yeah, I mean, he's the only quarterback in the nation that has done that, and it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah,
and he's doing it, and I'm looking for him to continue to do it. And I feel really good about our passing game.
No question about it. And by the way, Kyle, we were talking about as far as our running backs and who should we start. Well, it looks like our friend London Montgomery, guys. I hadn't seen this until tonight, but I'm seeing where he's averaging 101 rushing yards a game.
Okay, Tim Beck said in this press conference this week, the Coastal will be playing. It sounds like Coastal will be playing both quarterbacks. the offense was more consistent against Hudson, but he didn't throw the ball a lot. It sounds like we will see both quarterbacks potentially this week. I wouldn't be. My guess is Hudson will start if MJ has struggled mightily, and
Yeah.
Hudson was able to move the ball in the fourth quarter. But it sounds like that they're planning on seeing both quarterbacks this week. And there's Johnny with the music again. But
So I'm just strumming the guitar to Kyle.
all right. So no, it does not sound like Hudson's been announced as the starting quarterback, but it does. I think you can read between the lines there, and I do expect that you'll see him as the starter this week.
Well, and also, guys, is that not being a coach? Gamesmanship. You don't want you to keep the guys at East Carolina guessing.
Yeah, a part of it, yes, and a part
I
of
know
it, I
what you're
think,
saying.
legitimate. I think part of it is yes. I think part of it's legitimate. Dave, I hate to say this live on the air, but could you send that link again to Alan?
Oh, he's right here.
Oh, he's with us. All right, cool. Never mind.
Yeah, he's right here. Let's bring him in. All right, we'll bring in Alan from myhorrynews.com. Alan Blondin. I'm glad to have you back, Alan. Good to see you again. And we're obviously doing our Pirate football preview. So next up is Coastal at Coastal. How you doing tonight?
Doing well. Just had to take care of a couple of things, but we're good now.
Alan, all right, here's what we want to know. Who's starting quarterback? Is it going to be Tad or is it going to be MJ?
It looks like it's going to be Tad Hudson.
Okay. So that's not official, but that's what it sounds like. That's kind of what I was reading between the lines, too, that it's going to be Tad. MJ has not been very successful running the offense through the first 2 weeks. Tad had more success running it against Charleston Southern in the fourth quarter. Was not asked to throw the ball very much, but still was more successful. So what are your thoughts on Tad? What have you seen out of him? And what can the Pirates, what is the difference about his game versus MJ?
Yeah, well, he's obviously a North Carolina guy. Grew up there. I think he's from Raleigh, went to North Carolina for a year, transferred to Coastal. Did not play until after all of the defections after the regular season. So he played in the bowl game, played the entire game, really didn't play a bad game. They just were left with not much after all of the transfer portal departures. So he was missing a couple offensive linemen. He put up decent numbers, played a decent game. I mean, they got beat pretty handily by UTSA. But, again, they really wanted to start MJ Morris, and they did start MJ Morris for a couple games. It's just come down to turnovers. It's the 3 interceptions he had against Charleston Southern were all just terrible. Throws had no chance of being completed. Overthrew one guy, threw inside on an outside route to a safety who was basically standing still. And the third one was probably 10 yards short of his receiver, trying to hit a guy in the end zone from the 30-yard line, and came up 10 yards short. They basically are doing it out of necessity, I think, as much as they want to believe that Tad is the answer to their offense.
Well, I wish they would keep starting MJ with the way he struggled. We have a history of historically at East Carolina making backup quarterbacks getting their first start look good. I just ask any longtime Pirate fan about Rip Shearer, the former head coach of Memphis' son, and they'll cringe. Anytime I hear that, and particularly being he's a North Carolina kid, playing the Pirates down in Coastal, it makes me a little nervous hearing you guys are switching quarterbacks.
Yeah, but and MJ may see some playing time in the game. I don't think they're ruling that out. They like his skill level, and that's why he won the starting job. And if you watch him run around, and I mean, he looks to have all the pieces, just making the execution. And when you're playing Charleston Southern and you make those major mistakes like that, you're only going to get worse against better teams, you would assume. So I think they're basically trying to cut their losses for a game. See what Tad can do. I think they may even come down the offense a bit, only because MJ's been the guy getting all the reps with the number one offense for the last few weeks. Tad's been getting some, but There's probably things they like that he can do, and they'll probably stick to most of those without. My guess would be trying to open the offense up very much with him behind center.
Yeah, so more simplified game plan for Coastal going forward. Do you think with Tad? I know in the fourth quarter against Charleston Southern they ran the ball a lot more with Tad in. Was do you expect to see more of that this week with Tad, more of the running game, or was that just because you guys were in a situation you had the game won as long as you didn't turn the ball over with the way your defense was playing? I know what they want to do is kind of run the air raid.
Yeah, that essentially wraps. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there with the, they realized that if we don't turn the ball over, we can't lose, basically. They went on back-to-back 15-play drives in the third and fourth quarter to score a touchdown and a field goal, put the game away more with their time of possession than they did with their scoring, really. So, yeah, I think they would like to be able to run like that against East Carolina. I don't know if they can. I mean, again, East Carolina's defense is going to be better than Charleston Southern, so they were able to control the clock on the ground. So I'm sure they're going to have to try to open it up more than that. Really, so they gained about 250 on the ground. They had one 52-yard run. And if you separate the 52-yard run, they averaged less than 4 yards per carry in the game. So it wasn't like they were just kind of opening up holes and running roughshod. They, they meticulously moved the ball down the field in the third and fourth quarters. And I don't know if that's sustainable against better defense.
Yeah,
hey,
they're trying.
Go ahead, JR.
I was just going to ask Alan a question. So Coastal, it's crazy. 84% of their passes have been 9 yards or less air yards, and 20 plus. They're 2 for 11 with 3 interceptions. Do you think that they're throwing so many? I know it's the air raid, and essentially that's what the air raid is. But I mean, the fact that they are not taking the deep shots, is it because they just didn't believe in MJ's arm, and that's why they're making the switch? Is that part of it?
They obviously want to move the ball down the field. That big plays was supposed to be a major part of the offense and hitting some big strikes. And I think it's been more out of necessity. They don't believe that. They've had some drop balls too. Some receivers haven't caught the ball when they've had the opportunity to sustain drives. So, yeah, it's become a much shorter passing game than they anticipated. And again, I think it's a lot of factors. MJ didn't feel comfortable, I don't think, necessarily behind the offensive line. And so, yeah, they were relegated to a shorter game. It's possible with Tad. I mean, Tad's got a good arm that they may try to take some more shots downfield and possibly be more successful at it. But, yeah, you're right. That, for whatever reason, they've been throwing a lot shorter than we anticipated going into the season.
Alan, one thing I brought up at Knowledge Gym, and people seem to kind of laugh at me with this, and I want to get your thoughts on it and what you've heard other teams say. You grow up your whole life playing football. You're used to playing on green grass or green field turf. You're not used to playing on a different color surface. You look at the success Boise's had on the blue turf. Y'all's home record has been really impressive since you installed the surf turf. Out at Eastern Washington, their red field. Have you heard from other, coaches, players from opposing teams that playing on that teal field can be disorienting at first, or is it a non-issue?
Yeah, I honestly haven't. I think it's largely a non-issue, and Coastal did just put a new field in this year. They replaced their turf, and it's a more of a shade of green than it was before. So really, yeah, and all of their logos have gotten greener. That they never came out and said we're going to go with a darker. It's a darker teal to the point where it's almost green. So
interesting.
Yeah, if you look at any of their new logos in their buildings and their field house and compare it to their old logos that are still up, it's a different shade. It's darker. It's a different shade. It's darker. The horses were about to get started here. And so, yeah, it's even less of a difference now than it was even a couple of years, even last year. And I don't, once teams get out there, practice, run around, I don't think the color of the turf really matters.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I literally, it bothers me so much. The same with Boise. I have an eye condition, so when I watch games at Boise or even Coastal on TV, I have to adjust to it. So, and I realized it may be a me problem because as I brought it up to other people are like, "What are you so worried about that for?" I was literally to the point where I was like, if I was Coach Harrell, I would take one of our practice fields and paint at least the last 25 yards of a all this week.
Yeah.
I mean, but apparently I'm the only one that feels that way. A couple other questions for you, football related, but more so for the fans. What is the, if you've never been to a football game at Coastal, what is the atmosphere like? What's the tailgating scene like? First, let's start there. What is the tailgating scene like at Coastal?
Well, they're going to love one aspect, and you guys may have read about it previously. They're giving away free food for the entire
Oh yeah,
game.
yeah. Oh, that's been all over. Yeah, in the stadium. Yeah.
And
You got to download the app. By the way, let me tell all East Carolina
Yes.
fans that you download the Coastal Carolina app. I don't know if you can give us the exact name of it. You got to have that app to get the free food.
I think it's called the Chanticleer Sports app or Coastal Carolina Sports app, and you have to do that. That you do have to do that and apply to get these vouchers, and then you can take the vouchers to the concession stands. But they gave away they claim they gave away 27,000 hot dogs last week to a 22,000 person crowd. So, and you are allowed to go back twice. It's unlimited food. You can get 4 things at the concession stand each trip. It's soda, popcorn, hot dogs, and nachos. So
how are they making money on this? All right, so obviously they're thinking maybe it'll help attendance. You said 22,000 for Charleston Southern. That's a sellout. So, and I'm assuming it wasn't officially sold out as of yesterday. Are we still not sold out yet for East Carolina?
I hadn't seen that you were, but I'd be surprised if you aren't based on the amount of people you will bring here.
Yeah.
All of your tickets have been allotted, I know, and probably a long time ago. And they'll probably bring a lot more. They're picking up tickets that are available. So I'd be very, very surprised if it wasn't a sellout. And 7,000 students came last week. That's the most allotted for students, and that's the biggest number. They'd never sold out their student tickets before. So the students will be eating for free for sure. And so that leaves about, 14,000, 15,000 tickets. And I'd be very surprised if it didn't sell out. Coastal's they've set up things. Chance Miller came in last year from South Carolina. He was like the associate AD at South Carolina, came here. One of his big things was elevating the game experience for people. They had a drone show last week.
I saw that on TikTok. That looked great.
Yeah. They put new field in the end zone. In one of the end zones, they've got new field level VIP. So they've added stuff like that. They've got a teal town zone where you can play games and stuff before it. They've done a lot. They brought some food trucks in. He's done a lot to try to make it a better experience, and I'm sure it is compared to past years. So I'm sure East Carolina people will enjoy the both the pregame and the free concessions.
So with the free concessions, how are they making money on that? I mean, besides just selling more tickets and maybe the thought of we get it in here sold out, the people are going to get the free stuff, but they're also going to probably buy beer, or I don't even know. Can you buy beer and alcohol? Can you buy alcohol in South Carolina? Okay, you cannot.
No, you can.
You can. Okay, yeah. So that may be the thought. Hey, we'll get the people in here. We'll make the money on the alcohol sales. Also, with the app, are there in-app advertisement? Is that how they're making the money? Hey, we're not going to make the money selling the concessions, but if you download that app, you're going to get an ad from Farm Bureau or wherever. So I'm just curious how it's affordable to give away that amount of food.
Yeah. Well, Aramark, they've had an agreement with Aramark as their food and beverage provider for several years now.
Yeah, sure.
And Aramark is behind this as well. So, there's a sponsorship deal there with Aramark. I'm not 100% sure how much of that's covered, how much of that's not through the sponsorship agreement, but Aramark is behind it as well. So, I'm sure they're giving away, they're not getting it 100% provided, but I assume they believe through ticket sales and other sales, they'll make up whatever they're paying.
Well, I want to know, we're with Aramark too. A lot of people are. Well, why the hell hadn't we done it? Well, we got 40 to 50,000 people some games. So a lot of friggin' hot dogs.
That's
that might be your problem. You might have too many names fans.
That's going to say. When you think about Pirate fans, they overindulge in everything. So like the hot dogs. Can you imagine? And Alan, not to get off the subject here, but or down the rabbit hole, but we have trouble, especially when you have the big time games with like NC State or something like that, and I can't sell out. I can't imagine if you have a sellout crowd and people just keep going back for food. The lines would be horrendous.
Yeah, I was thinking that the lines in themselves would limit the amount that they'd be able to give out, but 27,000 hot dogs is a lot of hot dogs. So apparently people were moving through the lines pretty quick.
Well, I mean, you got to show I was about to say, you just hand them to them. There's no money involved, but you got to show that voucher on your phone. So I guess, that still slows things down a little bit, but apparently not too much. Just some more general questions, and we'll get back into the football game. I'll let you go. Just around Myrtle Beach, you're there. For Pirate fans coming in, what are some, obviously Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle gets new stuff all the time. What's some things that have been added, maybe for Pirate fans who hadn't been to Myrtle Beach in the last couple of years? What are some things around the city that people should check out, restaurants, shopping, et cetera, that has come in the last couple of years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I wouldn't say a ton has changed. Honestly, you've got the boardwalk on the ocean in downtown Myrtle. You've still got Broadway at the beach. Still got the the Myrtle Grand Mall. You've still got Barefoot Landing. A lot of the same things are still there. They'll change restaurants and change things. They've added, for entertainment purposes, if somebody comes in early, we've got a few golf related things. We've got Pop Stroke, a 36-hole Tiger Woods designed, basically glorified putt courses, 2 of them, but that's set up with bars, restaurant. It's got bars, it's got food. They actually deliver the food out to the putt courses. We've got Top Golf, something called the Hangout opened in Broadway at the beach. That has some live bands. That's right next to Pop Stroke. And, so yeah, they've added some things trying to keep families and people entertained, but it's still largely what it's been over the past several years.
Okay. So no new attractions no new restaurants or attractions that are must go to for Pirate fans.
I wouldn't say so, no. And I'm trying to think if there's an East Carolina bar here, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of it.
If there is, Pirate fans already know.
Probably.
I guarantee you that.
Probably true.
Let's talk football, Alan, as far as let's start with I know we talked about the quarterback situation with both quarterbacks. If you're just joining us, look like they'll play. Let's take the offense side of the ball. How is the offensive line looking so far?
Say that again, if you don't mind.
Sure. How is the offensive line looking so far? We'll take the offense side of the ball first.
Yeah. Well, Coastal's, I mean, they came back with a lot of guys they liked. Zach Elam, their center, came back after a year of injury, and everybody, he was a team captain, is a team captain again. Everybody talks about how, important he has been and is to the offense. Thomas Johnson moved over from center to the guard. They've got an all in Del Grand. They have an all Sunbelt guard. So they were very pleased and excited about their offensive line. They haven't been able to really, again, they sustained those 2 drives against Charleston Southern, but averaging 4 yards a carry aside from 1 run isn't overpowering them. They've been amazingly good in pass protection as far as allowing sacks in the last 3 years. They've been in the top 10 in the country for a couple of years in a row now. So, the offensive line has been decent, but not what they expected it to be, especially against lesser competition last week. So yeah, that's where the offensive line's at. If you want to move on to some skill positions.
Yeah, what are you guys looking like at receiver? You know, in the offense you guys are trying to, and somebody has got horrible background noise. Can everybody mute their mics? Um, the when you look at the offense you guys are trying to run, it's looks like a Texas Tech style offense is what you want to be, and obviously key to that is receiver, um, and not only receiving, catching the ball, but to run that offense properly, the receivers have to be able to block downfield. How are the receivers looking, and how are not only catching the ball, but are they picking up the downfield blocking that is key to that offense?
Yeah, to be honest, just the offense has been out of sync just, for the first 2 games, period. Like I said, the receivers have dropped balls. They've got a fifth-year senior in Jamison Tucker, who was an all Sun Belt performer, not first team, but named all Sun Belt. He has 1 catch for 2 yards. 2 years ago, he set the team record for the longest. I'm on video right here.
On video?
Yeah. Ron doesn't know what we're talking about.
No women there.
I'm on a video here. My buddy. Anyway.
No women. It's a sausage fest.
They've been out of sync entirely. And their wide receivers just again drop balls. Even if they're getting open, they're not open much.
Wait. Are you guys talking about football? NFL?
Right, I'm on screen here.
Yeah, but he said
no, it's not NFL.
Okay. Okay, it's not NFL. Okay. Yeah, McCarthy, boy.
All right.
Jefferson.
My buddy's excited about the Vikings.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, just their deep threat hasn't been a deep threat. They've been dinking and dunking it, drop passes. So really everything's been out of sync with the offense. So they are very deep at receiver. They expected to have a lot of guys be contributors. Jamison Tucker, as I mentioned, Bryson Graves, they've been in the program 3-4 years. They brought back Malik Mega, Cameron Wright. They brought in a guy from Miami, Robbie Washington, University of Miami, Florida. They were expecting a lot of things from a lot of these guys, and it might be the quarterback. It might be partially them. Watching Charleston Southern last week, they were covering every route run. I mean, they were on top of every pass play that I was looking at. So they've just really been out of sync and not hard to decipher for defenses up to now.
Yeah, and it scares me because when I looked at you guys before the season started, I looked at what you had coming back in the offensive line. I looked at your receiver room, and I knew what you guys were trying to run, bringing over the OC from Western Kentucky, and I really thought you would be a pretty good offensive football team, and you still might be. I just hope it's not this week you get it together. That's my biggest fear is that this is the week, and that's another thing from the aspect of how big is this game to Coastal Carolina players, to Coastal Carolina fans, to the student base. East Carolina coming in a regional opponent. We've been playing SBS football for since the 70s. We're not a Power 4 school, but we are a established program with a relatively big name in this area. How big of a game is this for the Coastal fan base and for the players?
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple things. One, it's their last non-conference game until they start conference because they play South Carolina the second to last game of the year. So, this is their last opportunity to try to get things right before they go into conference. East Carolina is probably a bigger rival in baseball, with both programs being really good. They always play non-conference. A lot of times they meet in the postseason. And of course, Coastal has since had, since going FBS in the last few years, they have had Power 5 teams come in. I mean, Kansas is one of them, if you want to call them one. They are now, but they weren't necessarily when it came to Coastal. And last year they had Virginia come in. So, they've managed to get some big teams to come in. And in football, I mean, I think ECU is a rival in some sense, but they've only played once. It was the bowl game 2022. Coastal was in disarray at the time. Jamie Chadwell had already announced and left. They had a bunch of players leave. So, hopefully it'd be nice if the two teams would be able to establish, more of with the easy travel for everybody. Everybody's trying to save money now with having to pay players, and so it would be very nice if these two teams would develop, more of a future schedule.
Yeah, and I was just curious from the fan base perspective, how they're, it doesn't sound like to me, at least from what I'm picking up from you, that there's not a particular amount of excitement for East Carolina coming to town. It sounds like it's just another non-conference game.
I mean, I think there's more than there would be for several other teams, but being the regional and having the baseball background that they do, I don't believe it's Coastal's not looking at it one of the biggest non-conference game they've ever had. Had they started 0-2 and looked amazing, there might be a little more momentum behind that. But at this point, they're just struggling to try to put a good product on the field, especially offensively.
Right.
Alan, I feel like our running back situation is very similar. We both basically use a 3-man rotation, and we don't throw to them much at all. Can you tell us a little bit about your 3 different running backs, Jalen John, Dominic Nicely, and Javen Simpkins? I can tell you something about Dominic Nicely. Every year I go to one game with my high school alma mater, and last year it was against the James Madison Warhawks, and Dominic Nicely ran for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns and killed us. So I know what he can do. What can the other ones do? Like, can you tell me what to expect when the other ones are, or all 3 of them? What do each one offer?
Yeah, they have been spreading around the ball, and they did say they would prior to the season with what they had in the backfield. They expected contributions from a handful of guys. So, yeah, Jalen John's like a 6th-year UMass transfer. So, and he's kind of their power guy. If they need a yard or 2, he's probably the guy they're going to put in there. Javen Simpkins has been around the program the most. He's a shifty guy, somewhat speedy. And I think everybody kind of expected him to be the main guy going into the year. And Dominic Nicely, of course, had a real big game last week with 9 carries for just about 100 yards and 52-yard run. He's their most explosive guy, but he's just a true freshman. So, I wouldn't think they would rely on him to be their main guy. But all of them have carried the ball, between 16 and 21 times. So they do rely on those 3 guys. If somebody gets hot, I'm sure they're going to leave them in the game and let them do their thing and hope to get some production.
Let's quickly talk about the defense. You guys bring in new defensive coordinator from Louisiana Tech. I really liked his defense at La Tech. I think he's a really good coordinator. Struggled against UVA, but UVA's got a good quarterback and a good offense. They shut out Charleston Southern. So what are your thoughts? And just talk about the scheme. It's a different defensive scheme. It's not something you see every day. So talk about it from a schematic standpoint and the early success, at least against Charleston Southern.
Yeah, I mean, it's very multiple. And honestly, they looked good in the first 3 series against Virginia. What essentially happened was their offense couldn't keep the ball. I mean, they were 3 and out or turning the ball over for the entire first half for the most part. So the defense kind of got worn down. They also gave up a block punt and a 100-yard return on a kickoff. So, I mean, their defense, gave up a lot of yards, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that they were just left out there. If they didn't get a 3 and out or, get the ball back within 6 plays, they were just going to sit out there because the offense couldn't hold the ball. So defense has looked actually pretty good. I mean, they looked really good early against Virginia, and they looked exceptional against Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern never got inside the 35-yard line of Coastal with 10 drives. So, they were very good. So, yeah, it's multiple. He tries to be very aggressive, tries to set guys loose and give them a few keys and just go make a play. And so far, they've looked pretty good. Again, that Virginia game had some outlying things that happened that, went against the defense. So, it'll be interesting to see this week, to be honest, if the defense, this is going to be possibly the true first game where if the offense at least is adequate, we'll see how well the defense performs against what appears to be a pretty good offense. I've seen that under Hauser, they've averaged about 37 points a game. So, going back to last year. So they're gonna, this will be a good test for the defense, and we'll see what I think we'll see be more indicative of what they may have going forward.
Yeah, and what's crazy about that defense and your defensive coordinator is that Louisiana Tech, they were running the air raid and struggling to score points. So when it comes to Coastal Carolina, you guys are essentially running the air raid and you're struggling to score points.
Yeah.
So it's literally, it's just funny. You think of these style offenses and you think of putting up big points, and it didn't happen for them at Louisiana Tech. Their defense kind of had to carry things, and so far at Coastal.
Yeah, and they've only got one turnover on last week pressured the quarterback, hit him as he threw, and the ball was kind of floating and intercepted. So, they've turned it over 6 times, got 1 turnover. I know East Carolina's got 3 turnovers, is yet to turn it over. So if that continues, it's Coastal's minus 8 in the turnover category against ECU through 2 games. So if that continues, Coastal's going to have a very difficult time winning. The defense will probably have to get a couple turnovers. The offense has got to slow down their turnovers.
Yeah, I'm seeing as far as defense and discipline, Alan, you guys are allowing 24 points a game, 300 yards per game. You have a high penalty yards of 70 per game and a poor third down conversion of just 28.6%, which is 119th in FBS.
Is that offensively or defensively you're referring to the
defense?
Third down. Well, they held. I think Virginia was 7 of 14, I believe, the first week, if I recall. And last week they held Charleston Southern 0 for 10. So
yeah, your that third down conversion has to be their offense, Dave.
Offense, yeah.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah,
better defense, but okay.
Yeah, their third down conversion, was woeful. 1 for 14 against Virginia. Again, they couldn't stay on the field at all. So 1 for 14, 0 for 8 in the first half. I mean, they were just, they were a turnstile on offense.
So you mentioned against UVA, you mentioned a block punt and a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown.
Kickoff return.
Did the special teams look any better against Charleston Southern?
Yeah, their field goal kickers 3 for 3, I think, or maybe 2 for 2. What they had 2, and he's 2 for 2. He kicked a field goal that they took off the board when Virginia got a penalty. So he really is 3 for 3 on the season. So that's been solid. He's new. They're a lot of their special teams is new. So, but yeah, so I think it appears they can rely on their kicker. They didn't get a punt block to return a kickoff for a touchdown last week, but so that's good. That might be progress. But again, the way they go into this game, I think with a lot of things to clean up, and so if they do clean those things up, I think it'll be a very competitive game. If they fail to clean some of those things up with turnovers, allowing some things on special teams, not being able to keep the ball, could be a long day for them.
Yeah, no doubt. Alan, as we wrap this up with you, we're going to give our prediction scores before we, close out the show. But do you care to give your predicted score, or do you do that?
I mean, I can. Sure. Based on the first 2 weeks, I fully expect East Carolina to win the game. Coastal will have to make some market improvements, particularly on offense. They have to make some market improvements to be able to keep pace with East Carolina. So I don't know about a score. I would expect East Carolina to win by 10 to 17 points would be my guess.
I hope you're right. I'm going to be a bit more conservative with my pick, but I like your pick.
No doubt. Well, Alan, how can people follow you on social media, and where can they read your articles?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So all my articles I do post on social media as well. So, but it's in Myori News. Just as a quick aside to my background here, I worked for the Sun News. It was daily newspaper in Myrtle Beach for 29 years. Covered mostly golf, but I did cover Coastal Carolina in 2000. And then I picked them up again in 2017 to present day. Left the Sun News 3 years ago and began covering Coastal for Myori News, which is a collection of weekly newspapers with myorinews.com, Ori being the county HORRY. So MyRayNews.com is where my stuff is. I've been covering Coastal for 3 years for them. So going back to 2017, we're 9 years covering Coastal straight through. And everything I write will be there, as well as my Facebook page, which is just at Alan Blondin. And my Twitter is at Alan Blondin as well. So if you know how to spell my name, it's not hard to find me.
There you go.
Well, Alan, thank you so much. You helped us before. Appreciate it very much. And maybe you'll run into Kyle. He's the crazy one, the crazy fan. You'll run into him on Saturday night at the game.
All right. I look forward to it.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. We're back and obviously talking Pirate football. If you have your questions or comments for the time we have left, then put them in the comments section. We would love to be able to talk about the game. I'll tell you what, one of the things, guys, by the way, I've been really impressed with, and I don't think I mentioned in the post game in our playback, is I really like the Pearson kid, punt returns.
Yeah, he's solid. He catches the ball
really
every
good.
time, gets a few yards. He's definitely solid. I don't know if he has kickoff, punt return capability to house it, but he's certainly somebody who's going to get you yards every time. And knock on wood, I never, he looks like he catches the ball clean every time.
Yeah, I agree, Kyle. I think he does have the ability to house it. I feel like when he catches the ball, he's like, I'm giving up like 6 inches and 50 pounds to these guys. I gotta run for my life, and that's the way he runs. And I'm waiting for him to break one. I think it's going to happen.
Maybe it'll be this week, guys. You want to go ahead and give your scores, and let's get the hell out of here.
All right, I'll start with JR.
Okay, I'm going to go 34. No, I'm going to go 38-17.
Okay.
Pirates.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that's Pirates, right? Kyle, what you got, brother?
Not as bullish as JR. I like their defense. I'm going to say East Carolina. Oh, God. East Carolina 27, Coastal 20.
Wow.
All right. You stole my first number, Kyle. 27, and that's the Pirates. And I will say 27-10. 27-10 is what I'll go there. So
I like y'all's picks better than mine. I hope y'all are right.
Hey, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to week 1 when we predicted NC State and then Campbell. I'm going to figure out who's winning these prediction contests.
Oh, I'll tell you what, my prediction for NC State was way off. I had that game way high, more outscoring than it was.
Well, I'm going to keep track so that we can keep an on-season tally going.
I think you'll also find out my predictions are normally pretty conservative.
Robert says 31-17 Pirates.
Here's one other point, guys, and it's the last point I want to make anyway. But everybody that has us blowing out Coastal and all this, okay, put everything aside. Put everything aside. Coastal struggles. Put everything aside. Coastal struggles. Put all that aside. Who knows what we're going to see with a different quarterback. But here's a point that I think people are missing, and why I'm not ready to say we're going to blow anybody out on the road. When's the last time we blew anybody out on the road? I beg either one of you to tell me. You ain't going to be able to. It wasn't last year. Tulsa was the drizzling shits last year when we were rolling, and we had to beat them on the last play of the game. North Texas, we beat them by double digits, but it took a second half comeback to do so. We have not been a stellar road team. We did win 2 late road games last year, as mentioned, Tulsa and North Texas, but we haven't. The last time we blew anybody, I can't tell you the last time we blew anybody out on the road. It is, please, I'm begging anybody, either one of you or anybody in the comments, quickly tell me the last time we blew somebody out on the road.
I'm running it through my brain right now.
Last year at ODU, somebody mentioned ODU. This game will be like the App State ODU game on it. The App State ODU game. We lost to App State, Drew, so those games aren't
okay, I got it. Kyle, what about when we handled the Bulls of South Florida 48-28? That was in Boca.
There you go. Well, that was technically a neutral site there, JR, so We still ain't got a true road game.
Oh, okay. Well, technically, but we're in their state.
They had as many fans there as we did.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you the last time we blew anybody out on the road. I'm confused by Drew's last comment about how it'll be App State ODU. Those were completely different games. We beat ODU every time we played them, and we've lost to App State every time we played them recently.
I think is he saying App State versus ODU?
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Robert says we're due.
Robert, for blowing somebody out on the road, yeah, I'd say we are due to do that, but I'll believe it when I see it. I fully expect the Pirates to win this game, but when we blow somebody out on the road, God, look at how bad Charlotte was last year, and look what happened.
Yeah, but I think the
55 on the no, we've blown somebody else since then on the road. I mean, God Almighty, that was 2013.
Man, Kyle, that's a great take by you because I'm having a hard time even trying to debate you.
The last time I remember blowing somebody.
Okay, at South Florida was it 2020? Yeah, we beat them at their place 44-24.
That's a 2021.
2020. Okay. In 21, let me get my years straight. No, that might have been 2020 also. I was thinking 2020 at Temple we won convincingly, but so again, that's 5 years. I mean, so that's I don't know the last time we blew anybody out on the road.
You're right, Kyle. We beat Temple 28-3 in 2020. So in 2020, we ruled on the road. We kicked butt.
Except at Georgia State.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about that.
But like I say, so Holton in 22. I'm thinking of 21 and 22 when we were pretty good.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
No, we didn't. We had some tough road games too, but some of it's just been scheduled. But we have not particularly been good on the road. Now, I will say this: I do think their stadium holds 22,000. I think we'll have minimum 5,000 Pirate fans there. So, it won't be a neutral crowd environment, but I do think there'll be enough Pirate fans there to make a lot of noise. What I expect this game to be like, is whoever made that comment earlier about the ODU App State thing, I do think this game could be very similar to our games at ODU. That I do think. I don't know what in the world App State has to do with it, though.
I don't know. Yeah,
our games at ODU, we've won them both by like a touchdown, but pretty much dominated the game.
Yes, we did.
So,
yeah. What do you guys think about? I know it's a football show, but as far as baseball, we have the groundbreaking for the baseball expansion. Just wanted on Friday afternoon. I couldn't go, unfortunately, because of my day job. But what do you guys think about that so far? Having both projects will take maybe 2 years at the most, something like that. So looking forward to both projects. And as baseball fans, we should be 25. JR, would you say the 27 season, Kyle?
I wouldn't have any idea. Did anyone, speaking of rebuilds, has anyone seen what happened with the old Scales building? I didn't make it over there. What did that look like?
You know what? I said it on Sunday night. We have our moments where people think, including the administration, that we're so critical of them. I gave them praise on Saturday night. I went there. Good. I am a big history guy. I love the Scales Fieldhouse, but I have to say I walked over there on purpose so I would be able to tell you guys that very thing, because I didn't want to just speak out of turn and just speak about it. But it's very nice. They've got a tent. They have the turf, if you will. They've got a really big TV, and where you have football on. You've got the tables there under the tent. So it's a very good premium tailgate. It's another way for us to make money. So, and aesthetically, it really looks like it's supposed to be there.
Do they have any of those patio lights, like the string lights? Do they have any of those up?
I don't remember. They
Because
may. I don't remember seeing it.
NC State does that down there, and it makes like a small space that is not that really impressive. It makes it look a lot more impressive when they have these lights strung all over the place. People like the lights, so
Yeah,
that's a cheap way to improve it.
Yeah, if they did, they may have. I don't remember seeing that.
Okay,
But
I'm going to check
Well,
it
it was
out at the
daytime when you
BYU
were out
game.
there, so you wouldn't have noticed it.
That's
You know,
true.
so. All right, guys.
All right.
We about ready to do like we would do with a young lady in downtown Greenville back in our college days and wrap it up.
Put a bow on it. Yeah, we'll get out of here. Pirates, again, the game is at 7:30. And good luck to the Pirates. And please, safe travels for everybody going down, including Kyle and Jessica Barber. And if you see Kyle, take a picture with him and put it on our social media. We'd love to have that up on Facebook, Instagram.
Please, no one bother me.
Why not?
I don't like being bothered.
Oh, okay. All right. JR.
No, I'm just kidding. Say hey. If you want to, if you see me out there, come say hey.
Hey, thank you for all the comments tonight too. I really love enjoying hearing, especially Kenny's always got some good takes. I like.
Yeah, he does.
Kenny's been having some good stuff lately, so I enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a lot of participation once again, and we'll be back. Of course, we do our previews on Wednesday night this year because a lot of Thursday night games, and of course, we'll have our Pirate football playback, and that'll be on Sunday night at 8:00. Hope you have the it's Hump Day, so happy Hump Day. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. And as always, we're going to get out of here and go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.